Whew. This is it's gonna be a little hard of a video to make, not because of the subject matter so much as earlier today I went to see a movie with my dad, and it's called Free Solo, and it's about this guy Alex Honnold. And if you know anything at all, I guess, about mountains or rock climbing, uh, basically he did something called, well, he free solo stuff, right? Which means he goes up the mountain and he doesn't have any ropes or equipment or no safety protection. All he has is a bag of chalk and his clothes. That's basically it. And he climbs giant ass mountains, and he's, you know, so expert at it that he doesn't even need like big holds or anything. Like, you could have like a few millimeters of like a hold, even less, and he could use that to just climb it up. It was amazing, and I've heard about the guy before, and the movie kind of entails his journey to um, soloing Yosemite, right? And it made me think a lot about speedrunning. And the reason this video is hard to make is because it got my blood pumping. And also, I had a mocha with a shot of espresso earlier today, and I don't usually drink coffee. It was probably a little much, so I'm still a little shaky. So bear with me. But anyways, this this man, Alex Honnold, decided to do something so audacious that after I came out of the theater, I said, "Oh my God, I think it might be the most impressive thing any human has ever done." And I saw the movie with my dad, and we were talking about it, and we said, well, like there's different levels of impressive. He brought up the first thing he brought up was artistic feats, and how Beethoven composed whatever piece of music, something amazing when he was 6, right? And then we basically talked about some different things. I mentioned Martin Luther King, his legacy, and I forget what else. It's not particularly important, but what I will say is uh, I came to the conclusion that the reason I thought that soloing Yosemite, it's insane. It's so huge. No one has ever done anything like that except him. You know, it's probably the most difficult thing in rock climbing, I guess. And I'm not a rock climber, but it's still like you're climbing up basically something that's vertical most of the time. Something that is not comparable to other rock climbing for the most part. And it took him 3 hours or 4 hours roughly. And we have our achievements in the speedrunning community, right? I mean, the closest thing I could probably think to that is I'd say Louis' solo hard mode access. But then again, you're not risking your life when you're doing that, right? But it is bold, you know, like too many hard mode access is difficult, right? You got 9 bombs in the same amount of time as you have to do 3. Uh, it takes a lot of effort and practice, and but he did it, and he didn't do it to gain popularity. He did it because it was impressive. Sorry, he did it because of the I don't know where I want that. He did it because of the achievement. If you're gonna solo access, right, on hard mode, uh, it's like that in itself is enough clickbait, I think. You know, like, but here's the thing: it's only got over 1,000 views. In my mind, the most impressive Destiny challenge ever done, only just over 1,000 views, right? If that was on Sweatsicle's channel, any of the Redeem members, Slayerage, if it was on Slayerage's channel, maybe 1,000,000 views. Maybe. Over 1,000 times what Louis got. and in my opinion, it's the most difficult. And you may disagree, but it's hard to argue that soloing access on hard mode, being the thing that only he has done ever, it's hard to dispute that that's very impressive. And I do think if Slayer did it, it would be very very popular. And I guess the main point I want to bring up in this video, if anything, and I think it goes unsaid, is that the speedrunning community in Destiny is particularly screwed up because the people who hold the power are the people with the largest platform, and those people are not necessarily the most into it. I think that's unfortunate. I think that in a perfect world, the best players would be the ones with the viewer base. They would be the ones with the popularity, right? And unfortunately, that's not the case. It's the people who go out and do the things first. World's first two-man hard mode access, not world's fastest or, not most. I mean, the point here is that people can gain popularity, and it really stiffs the smaller guys. It really does, and that makes us. I'm not saying I'm one of the best, but I am one of the smaller guys, right? It puts us in a position, people in the speedrunning Discord, basically, people who, aren't people who put big old bubble letters on their thumbnails and try to market everything they do as useful to everyone else. You know what? I'll be honest. I'm kind of losing my train of thought, but I've come up with something new, and basically, it relates. It's okay. The thing about how people should gain popularity in speedrunning other than skill is entertainment value. And there's a speedrunner in the GoldenEye community named Carl Jobst. I really like the guy. I think he's extremely intellectually honest and a decent guy. Very wise, I guess. I've talked to him a lot, and I think he understands that in a good speedrunning community. Sorry, I'm kind of just messing with my foot here. That's what this is. Like, I'm kind of like I'm sitting down on my bed. So you see all my art back there. I made all of this in high school. But and I'm not a degenerate. Like, I just got out of high school, so we're good. It's not like I'm 23 in my basement, all right? I mean, my room is downstairs. It's like everyone's room is downstairs. We all live in the basement, so. But whatever. I really think that the speedrunners who deserve to elevate themselves in terms of popularity, I think in a perfect world the driving factor would be skill, not novel things like who does it first, or who can market it the best. But that's the first thing, skill. Second thing, which is more realistic, in a better world, is to be able to gain recognition through entertainment value. And the part that's so upsetting to me, and I don't know, I don't think this is snowflakeish or whatever. I'm just upset by it. That is what it is. Yeah, I think it's upsetting generally. It's okay to be upset, right? I don't think it's me being a little bitch or anything. The part that I think is upsetting is that, I mean, I will name names. Slayer and Redeem have gained popularity through basically trying to make their achievements more marketable, more clean and smooth. And I think to an extent, and I mean more appealing, more grabbing to your natural eye. And that alone is not bad. But my problem is there's no soul in it. There's none of that. What do they call it in Italian? I don't know. The There's none of that pizzazz or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like there's no I'm trying to figure there's none of that panache. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'll say it anyways. There's no panache in these videos, right? It's here's the thing, we do it, but and I'm not saying that's every speedrunner style. If you look at, I'm going to name two people, Fish and Esoteric. These two people don't exactly have a ton of panache in their videos, right? The main place they have, their creative style, other than within the speedruns. I mean, obviously Fish does more speedruns, but like, of course, there's a vast amount of creativity in actually speedrunning itself. But in terms of the viewer perceiving that, like when they see it, it comes off visually, right? Not they don't always consider the process, and that's not because they're stupid. It's just because they didn't go through the run. Other runners don't even understand, like unless they've run the same IL or raid or whatever. You know, unless you're very perceptive, which is common, but like Fish will put it in his thumbnails, like the visual style, and it's not like clickbaity. It's like he spends time in Photoshop making it look visually appealing, not trying to exploit human behavior type of appealing. Like, oh, that looks very cool, artistic. Whereas redeem thumbnails are basically they're off of a template. I don't know who it was, but there was definitely a graphic designer who slapped on the Grow Bold font. You can look up Grow Bold. That's the font they use. And they said, here, use some of these images, or they take your own images, but here's the font style. Title it how you want. There are, like, if you look across, and I don't even need to name names. You know the main YouTubers in Redeem who use that style, and I've talked about it before, but today I don't really want to focus too much on the particular style. I just want to make the point that, and I guess I haven't made the point with Slayer too much, but Slayer just has such big name recognition from doing things like World's First Solo Crota Hard Mode that he's just grown to the point where he can basically make any challenge he wants, and then everyone will call him a god and say, oh, look at Slayer, that guy's insane. And they won't know about people like Louis, who are arguably, at the very least, I might say provably, far better players than Slayer. And agree or disagree, I just want everyone to try to understand that it makes like having achievements be overshadowed by things that are just more popular, is difficult for people when they are motivated to go out and do something. I don't really have a problem with that because I'm not trying to get I'm not trying to get solo Argos or whatever, right? And I'm not saying Slayer did that, but I'm not playing the quote unquote relevant game, right? I'm on D1 doing individual level speedruns because I think for me that encapsulates the soul of what speedrunning is. And because it's refined, you put the time into it to optimize it, and you you can really get it close to perceived time lock with your current strats. You can really file it down to the fastest you think it can be, or the fastest you can do, at least. And I think that's a lot more special than getting a group together and speedrunning um, a raid. And I mean, I like raid speedruns, but I think the idea of speedrunning a raid before the game has finished its life cycle in a game like Destiny where updates affect everything. I think the only benefit that actually serves people who really want to speedrun, um, I think the only benefit that really serves is by flushing out kind of what strategies work, what don't. It's the early stages of refinement, right? And I don't think that's something that people should necessarily look at and think, oh, this is the pinnacle of what's impressive, you know? But the thing is, when they see Slayer and these really popular YouTubers and personalities go out and do that, they do view it like that. And I think that skews the perception of what speedrunning is. And let me be clear, I think a lot of what I'm saying in this recording is not entirely the points I want to make. And, you can point out whatever I say in a way that seems um, like I'm not making the best point I could be, or saying it's bad. I don't care if you say it's bad, but um, on the hand where basically I just want everyone here to watching to understand that um, for one, this video is not scripted, but this is kind of what's on my mind after the whole debacle. And what's more, what's I mean, I will talk about what is the elephant in the room today, which and the dust has kind of settled at this point, but I still have a few things to say. I did say something defending, uh, well, I don't know about defending, but trying to instill some compassion in people for Indica because I think he's been bullied enough, honestly. Indica has been a running meme, and I've made fun of him, and I regret that. I've told him that. I, I'm not just saying this now. Like I do think I've demonized a person unfairly, out of spite, childish spite, and um, in light of that, I decided to make a post in the speedrunning Discord saying that we should just be nice to each other, basically, And not only that, we shouldn't just be nice to each other. We should be nice to what we enjoy. And my final quote in the Discord message that I wrote was, I want people to sink their teeth into the game that they love and not into other players. And then again, I don't want them to sink it into the scene, you know? I think they should it's cool seeing Xbox, like playing on Xbox D1 because those players aren't concerned with what's relevant or what's going on. They just like speedrunning the game. And I honestly think everyone should just come over to Xbox and consolidate there, and we can all, like the people who really care about ILs and raids and strikes and whatever, we can optimize the things that are already closer to optimization so we can, really make Destiny a more flushed out, better speed game. New stuff is still being discovered. 20 years later in GoldenEye, okay, I don't know any other examples than GoldenEye because that's basically the only other speed game than Destiny that I follow, but even in a over 20-year-old game, still new strategies and time saves are being found. And I think if Destiny could become more like GoldenEye, where it's where the real speedrunners, at least, because there will always be the popular speedrunners who the community perceives as the best or whatever. But I say fuck them. Fuck what the community thinks. You know, if they think they can just submit a tool assisted run in a category that's for everyone else, I'm sorry, but like for one, I don't care. I don't care if you're trying to be something in that sense. You have to follow. Okay, they said the rules weren't stated. This is true. The Destiny speedrunning community on speedrun.com and stuff has a problem with adequate rules. But for one, if you have issues, you DM the moderators, right? That's what I've always done. Any question I've had, I've DM'd the moderators for the most part. If I found any inconsistencies in answers, I've deferred to Jukes basically, who knows what he's talking about all of the time. Fish as well knows what he's talking about for the most part. Um, well, actually, I haven't really had. I mean, Fish and I have disagreed more than Jukes and I, but still, Fish knows what he's talking about as far as rules go. But like not trying to name names. I really don't want this to be a video calling uh, anyone. I'm not trying to ostracize people who I think. Well, I'm not trying to ostracize people who I value. You know, I mean, you. I could say I'm trying to ostracize Slayer and, uh, Redeem, and to an extent, that is true. And the reason that's true is because I don't think they've earned the right to be part of, a true speedrunning community. I think they're basically like presidential candidates, you know? People make a big deal about presidential candidates and, you know, uh, their personalities. It becomes a reality show. And I don't want speedrunning to become a reality show. I want the Destiny speedrun community to become a passionate group of players who enjoys running the game and enjoys if some I hope some of those people enjoy being creative in how they present their speedruns. I certainly try to practice that. Um, by putting music over my runs, and you watch my videos. I hope you do. If you don't, check them out. And I really try to make my stuff entertaining, because if I don't enjoy watching it, then I don't want to be creating it. And it's not even that, like, it's simply the desire that I want to create stuff that I enjoy. I want to prolong the um I want to so when you do a speed run, uh the greatness of it, like your feeling of, oh, this is really good, I just got a world record, like, can get kind of short lived. And at some point, if people like start sucking up to you, just random people on a LFG or wherever, like, oh, Bloamy, blah, 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 I really start to feel like I don't deserve this recognition. I mean, I put up runs on speedrun.com, and maybe I think maybe I think a couple of them are okay. And, you know, like that excitement of the world record, I don't want to preserve its great achievement necessarily. I just want to preserve the feeling I get from it. I want it to feel not necessarily epic, but cool. I just want it to feel fun. And there's this video in the GoldenEye speedrunning community. Yeah, back to that. um, it's called Streets 112, and that's what it is. It's the run. It's Ryan Lockwood, a speedrunner, uh, kind of rewatching one of his speedruns, which is the mission Streets, and he got 1 minute 12 seconds on it, which was a tied world record at the time. And tied world records are a big thing in GoldenEye for the most part. It's not like, oh, you just tied it. Like they're very optimized at this point. So if you tie it, it's kind of a big deal, and it's a really huge deal if you untie a world record, or beat a tied world record. You know, um, if they were the first one to set a new time, like Carl Jobst, one of his bigger achievements was there was a mission that over 100 people had record on. It's called Dam, and they had 53 seconds. He got 52, and it was huge. And regardless, this guy Ryan Lockwood, uh, it's him with some like epic music that was later dubbed over it. Um, and sorry for looking that way. My screen's still on. My apologies, but it's hard, like with you if you're in a sports bar or whatever, or even any bar. Like if you're in a restaurant and they have like sports playing in the background, it's like, oh, it's like, hey, my eyes up right here, not there. It's like I'm not even looking at your tits. What's the problem? All right. Okay, I'm gonna stop with that. Um, fuck, I forgot what I was talking about. That's awkward, but okay, let me try to think. It won't take long. If not, I'll just start talking about something new. Uh, yeah, I was kind of talking about GoldenEye, and like I think like just adding some epic music over it, like it has over 700,000 views now, and he's just really pumped and excited, right? Because it was a big achievement for him, and um, I think if this community is filled with people who uh want to chase that excitement and chase that feeling of accomplishment, um, like speedrunning is what it is. People say it's very degenerate or whatever because you're sitting in a video game doing the same thing over and over and over just so you can do it a little faster than a small group of similarly or better skilled people, just to feel good about yourself because you can't do much else in life. Like that's kind of the argument, right? But for me, the way I view it is it's just it's what I like to do. I like playing Destiny. I like the feeling of hitting a sparrow skate or a fly or just going fast. I really love the movement in Destiny. And, that's the type of mission I like to run. And I just like the feeling of I do like the feeling of looking at the leaderboard and seeing my name there, even if I know that it's not perfectly optimized, but I do my best. And at a certain point, you run out of energy and you're like, I'm going to call it good with this run. Um, and I want the community to be people who enjoy that feeling. I really want it to be like full of people who just enjoy chasing records and figuring out new strategies and lines and timing every little bit of a run and just enjoying the game mechanics. Not people who are gonna get hung up over things about submitting a tool assisted run in a standard category. Tool assisted runs have always been banned in Destiny. That's intuitive. You don't need a rule for that. And if there was ever a dispute, take it up with a moderator, and you know, it is what it is. All right. I just think. Sorry. Look, my knees in the. Okay. Does that work? There we go. Nah, fuck it. Look, my final message. If you care about speedrunning and, you know, really care about game mechanics and stuff and how the game feels when you run it, I'm just gonna make the argument that D1 is better for that. If you want to be a speedrunner who enjoys actually optimizing stuff and more the enjoys the pure nature of speedrunning more than speedrunning things that are relevant or doing things that will get you popularity in the moment instead of achieving greatness over time, because that's how you get greatness, right? I'm nowhere near that, but people already know my name. I think that's cool. It freaks me out. Don't get me wrong. Like I was gonna say surreal, but I don't think it should have a positive connotation because I really perceive it as kind of weird. I mean, I don't think I have nothing wrong with people who do kind of put me on a pedestal weirdly, but I do think it's very weird considering I don't even think my runs are top quality or anything. There are definitely players who are a lot better than me, and easily. But if you wanna start speedrunning the game to actually speedrun it and enjoy it for what it is, and not try to you know get the popularity by doing the world's first whatever solo. Unless it's world's first. Like I want to do world's first siege engine solo on Hunter. People say it can't be done. It can be done. I'll hit all the double blinks. It's not that hard. Double blinks are fun for me. I really enjoy tapping A at the perfect fucking frame. And it sounds so stupid. But there's none of that in D2. None. It's just there's no fun tricks. Sparrow skating is nerfed. Titan skating is nerfed. There's no garrison. It's different and it doesn't feel right. Not every game in a series is something you have to speedrun. If you want to speedrun, come speedrun Destiny 1. You'll enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, you can go play Destiny 2 for fun because it's relevant and there's new content. But for the time being, I think I'll only be playing Destiny 2 to play it with friends. And um, you know, who knows, maybe I do go for something, but it's not where my true passion lies, and I hope everyone can understand that at the least. And yeah, that's the message. If you like really speedrunning and you're not trying to be anything but except better, if you're not trying to be anything but better or trying to improve as an actual player, um, D1 is where you need to be focusing your skills. The video's been about 30 minutes long. I really thank you for your time and thank you for hearing me, listening to me ramble. Uh, I'm actually kind of enjoying making content now, which is exciting. So, um, if you want me to make more, it's definitely motivate. Fuck it, I'm not cheesy. If it is motivating to see like a few new subs here and there, you know. So like, if I get to 100 subs, like that I've never had that on a YouTube channel or anything. You know, I've had a few different YouTube channels, but it's exciting. So like, honestly, I don't really care if you leave a comment that's nice or funny or something. Any comment at all, actually. That just kind of like gives me that little spark, like it brightens my day. And um, I'm not saying I want to be a YouTuber or anything, but in order for that to happen, everything would have to kind of fall in place already. And I mean, I just enjoy the process of taking my hobby, which is creative in its nature, and kind of try to frame it in a different way that's a little spicier, you know. And I think, I don't know, if you like that, show me. All right, thanks for listening, guys. Uh, Hit me up, Discord, wherever. Bloamy 2512. That's my Discord. Um, Join the speedrunning Discord so you can DM me without adding me, because I don't know who I'm adding a lot of the time. All right. This outro is weird. It's gone on too long, but mwah.